Hello everyone, my name is Sam. In today's video, I'm going to teach you adjective clause. Look at the board with me. Adjective clause. You know, some book called relative clauses. It's up to you actually. Yeah, if you really want to say that the adjective clause, that's it. You call it adjective clause. If you want to call it a relative clause, that's it. There's no problem between these two names actually. What is an adjective clause? An adjective clause is a dependent clause that functions as an adjective. That is, it modifies a noun or pronoun. Well, adjective clause is a dependent clause that functions as adjective. So when seeing the word adjective, mean that adjective modify noun or pronoun. That is, it modify a noun or pronoun. But as I said earlier, mean that adjective only a word. Adjective clause has subject and verb. The distinction is like that. There are two types of adjective clauses. Number one, defining relative clause. Yeah, you can call only defining clause. That's it. No need relative clause. One more name of adjective clause, it is called a restrictive relative clause or no relative clause. That's just restrictive clauses. Another book called identifying relative clause or only identifying clauses. Number one, these three names are only one, not three adjective clauses at all. No, you can call defining relative clauses or defining clauses, restrictive relative clauses or restrictive clauses, identifying relative clauses or identifying clauses. Defining clauses, restrictive clauses, identifying clauses are only one adjective clause. Don't get confused. What is defining relative clause or what is a restrictive relative clause or what is an identifying clause? It's very easy. The definition, when you talk about defining clause, defining relative clause give extra information which is really essential to the meaning of the sentence. For defining clause here, it means that the clause is really essential to the meaning of the sentence. When you leave it out, it does not make sense. It is not really clear which one it refers to. Alright, so for defining clauses or restrictive clauses here without command or because the information is really essential to the meaning of a sentence. For example, the professor who teaches my biology class won a Nobel Prize yesterday. Adjective clause from who to class. It is adjective clause without comma at all. But you know, from who to class here is really essential, really important to the whole sentence. If you leave it out or if you delete this clause, it does not really, you know, make you understand the whole sentence clearly. For example, when you say the professor won the Nobel Prize yesterday, who professor? Because we have a lot of professors. Then when you add adjective clause like this, it really extra information which is really important to the meaning of the sentence. So we only the professor who teaches my biology class. Here the information is really important. And understand this one, everyone? From who to class is the adjective clause. Adjective clause here modified to noun professor. Who professor? Professor who teaches my biology class won a Nobel Prize yesterday. So these adjective clauses they call defining clauses or defining relative clauses, restrictive clauses or restrictive relative clauses, identifying relative clauses or identifying clauses. So the same. These three names, only one adjective clause or relative clause here. The adjective clause modify noun professor. Number two, the name of adjective clause is non-defining relative clause, or you can use it in bracket like this without relative. That's it. For the other name of adjective clause, we only add none to the first name of adjective clause. That's it. We use the word none. How about the definition of non-defining relative clause or non-defining clause? Well, the first one means that defining relative clause give extra information which is really essential to the meaning of the sentence. So this one, it can give extra information which is not really essential to the meaning of the sentence. In this point, mean that comma is used here. So the information is used in non-defining relative clause here is not really important to the meaning of the sentence at all. It means that this clause is left out, the meaning is still understood. Okay, so look at the example with me. Professor John, who teaches my biology class, won a Nobel Prize yesterday. So adjective clause from who here, but this clause it has comma, the first and the second comma, so it is called adjective clause. Modified Professor John. But the difference between these and the first one is that only one with comma and the other without comma. In this sentence, if you delete this clause, you still understand the Professor John is the one who is known clearly, is known well, so no need to give more information. You also understand who Professor John is. Okay, well, again, when you talk about adjective clause, a dependent clause that function as adjective. When with function as adjective, it means that it modify noun or pronoun. So an adjective clause is divided into two. One is called defining relative clauses or restrictive relative clauses or identifying relative clauses. So only one. This clause without comma at all, because it gives extra information which is really essential to the meaning of the sentence. Another name of adjective clause is that non-defining relative clause. Actually, only none is added to the first name of adjective clause, and this one comma is used because extra information is not really essential to the meaning of the sentence. In order to make an adjective clause, first you have to think of the relative pronoun or word within adjective clause. It's called number one a relative pronoun. Relative pronoun play a significant role in making adjective clause. In adjective clause, if it does not have a relative pronoun, adjective clause is not considered at all. A relative pronoun number one or letter A, who. Who in here, it is not a WA question in simple sentence. Thinking about adjective clause, it is in complex sentence. Simple sentence is not mentioned. Who in simple sentence is called WA question or information question. But in complex sentence, use adjective clause, it is called relative pronoun. Bear in mind that a who function as a subject and object, and it is used for a person. So who is used for only a person, not using for the thing or animal. No, not really, just a person. Look at the example. First, we study two simple sentences. Yeah, these two simple sentences are combined into one sentence. It is called complex sentence, which we use who as a subject or object in our sentence here. Alright, look at the example with me. Number one, people avoid traveling by plane. They fear flying. In order to make an adjective clause, the first you have to think of antecedent noun or head noun. The question is, the first sentence and the second sentence, which word in the first sentence is the same as a word in a second sentence? People, they. Alright, so only the word people and they. Then back to adjective clause, mean it function as an adjective, that is, it modify noun or pronoun. That's why we use people are an antecedent or people is a head noun. That's why you can write like this: people, verb predicate from avoid to plain here, we take it away and then we insert they fear flying they here, because who is a subject or a relative pronoun. That's why we use who replace they. That's we can write who fear flying, avoid traveling by plane. The first two simple sentences are combined into one complex sentence. That's why we use who replace they. People who fear flying avoid traveling by plane. So from adjective clause from who to fly, flying. So we have adjective clause modify people. Look at who. Who is the subject or object? Look at the root of the sentence. Who replace they? So they here function as a subject. Fear is a verb. That's why who in here is also a subject. So who function as a subject. Yep. Number 2. The teacher is Mr. Sam. I like him the most. So which noun in the first sentence is the same as one noun in the second one? The teacher and him, or Sam and him. But this one we no need to use Sam actually, but we use only the teacher and him. That's why we use the teacher as the head noun or antecedent, the teacher. I like him here. When we use him, we use with or relative pronoun who. So who, but we cannot use who in here. When we combine it into a complex sentence, a relative pronoun must stand close or next to the antecedent. So we use who I like the most is me, Mr. Sam. Okay, so how about adjective clause from who to the most? It is adjective clause. Which noun it modify? The teacher. Who here on the right of who is I. So I is the subject of like. That's why who is object. The first simple sentence you can see him. Who replace him, and him here is the object of like. That's why who in here also object of like. So this one adjective clause. The first two examples here are called defining relative clause because it has no comma at all. Look at the number 3 and number 4. The award was won by Danny Johnson. The coach highly respect him. So which noun in the first sentence is the same as one in the second one? You know, it does not mean that Danny John and Danny John again. Actually, this is also noun phrase. So him and John, Danny John, the same thing. That's why him we use with who. So we can write the award was won by Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson here is a proper noun. That's why we use with comma. It is called non-defining relative clause. We write who the coach highly respect. So adjective clause who here, who replace him. That's why who is the object. So adjective clause from who to the respect. Which noun it modify? Danny Johnson. Number 4. A grant of $1.5 million was awarded to Dr. Sato. He has embraced the scientific community with his research on the common cold. Dr. Sato and he is the same thing. That's why we can write adjective like this. A grant of $1.5 million was awarded to Dr. Sato. Dr. Sato is proper noun, that's why we use with comma. I recall non-defining relative clause. He is replaced by who? Who has embraced the scientific communities with his research on the common cold. I use blah 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 and then common cold. Yeah, so adjective clause from who to the end of the sentence. It is adjective clause modified Dr. Sato. Who here is the subject because who replace he in the simple sentence. Again, introductory word within an adjective clause, we have relative pronoun. Letter A, we use who. Who in relative pronoun is not who in WA question or information question in simple sentence. It is used in complete sentence. Who, it functions as a subject and object, and it is used for a person. So because of adjective clause have two defining relative clause and non-defining relative clause, we have the example about who. Like this, people who fear flying avoid traveling by plane. Who to flying is the adjective clause. A function of who is the subject. Who replace they in the simple sentence. The teacher who I like the most is Mr. Sam, who here replace him. Him is the object of like in a simple sentence. So in complete sentence, who here is relative pronoun function as object too. The awarded were won by Dr. Denny Johnson, who the coach highly respect. So who here is the object. In the simple sentence, is the object of respect. In the complete sentence, who is the object because it has its subject like this. And the last one, a grant of $1.5 million was awarded to Dr. Sato. Dr. Sato is proper noun, so we use with comma. Who is the subject because who replace him in the simple sentence. So who is the subject has impressed blah 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 to common cold. In adjective clause, we use who as a relative pronoun here. We know that adjective clause have two. Clause with comma and without comma. Clause with comma is called non-defining relative clause, which give extra information which is not really essential to the meaning of the sentence. Defining relative clause without comma, it gives extra information which is really essential to the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so according to the example, we can understand that in adjective clause with who, we can use both as a subject and object. But the next, you gonna see one more relative pronoun, but who in here, if it is used as an object in the complex sentence like this, it is informal. It is not really formal at all. But when who is used as a subject, it is really formal. The next relative pronoun, you're gonna see which one is more formal and which one is less formal. Introductory word within adjective clauses. Okay, relative pronoun whom. Whom is used as only object in adjective clause, and it is used for a person too. In order to combine two simple sentences into one sentence, first you have to think of two nouns which are the same in a sentence between the first noun in the first sentence and the second one in the second sentence. Okay, look at the example with me. The same example as the who used as a relative pronoun. The teacher is Sam. I like him the most. So the teacher and him is the same person. Why don't you use the teacher or Mr. Sam and him? In fact, if you use Mr. Sam and him, when combine this sentence, it is not logic in terms of the meaning, right? So, well, in this one, we can use the teacher is antecedent. So the teacher Him here we use whom. We can use like this. Whom I like the most is Mr. Sam. So where is the adjective clause? Whom is the object, I is the subject of like. So adjective clause from whom to the I like the most. So it is adjective clause. Modify down the teacher is Sam. Can I write the teacher is Sam whom I like him the most? Well, as I said earlier, it does not really sound nice when you Mr. Sam as an antecedent. In this position, can I use who here? Well, it's okay when who as the object, function as the object, but the thing is that between who and whom is more formal, but who is informal actually. So when the question is between whom and who, which one is the best answer? The best answer is whom. Whom is more formal. Number 2, the award were won by Dennis Johnson. The coach highly respect him. So him and Dennis Johnson, the same thing. That's why we use Dennis Johnson as the antecedent. We can write the award was won by Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson is proper noun. That's why this adjective clause is non-defining relative clause we use with comma. Him by whom the coach highly respect. So where is the adjective clause? Adjective clause from whom to highly respect. Adjective clause modified Dennis Johnson. Can I use who here? As I said earlier, we can use who in here, but it is less formal, it is informal. When you use whom is more formal than who. The question is between who and whom. In these two examples, which one is more formal? Whom is more formal, function as an object. Again, whom is used as the only object as a relative pronoun in adjective clause. It is used for a person. So whom is really formal, is more formal than who when it is used as object. It is used in both defining relative clause and non-defining relative clause. But you have to remember that in order to combine the two simple sentences, see the first you have to take a look at the same noun between the first sentence and the second one. If these two are the same, you have to use one noun as the antecedent and the other is used with a relative pronoun who, whom, or something like that. But in a simple sentence, if one sentence antecedent noun is a proper noun, that clause we use with comma, it is called non-defining relative clause. Alright, does it make sense, everyone? If you are not quite sure of any point, please write your question. I'll try my best to reply to those. Well, we come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching my video, but don't forget to wait for more and more video. Well, see you later. Bye bye.